Welcome to part 3 of working with strings in Python. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a Python program that uses some of the string methods to verify passwords for a university computer system. The requirements for the password are the password must be at least 10 characters long. It must contain at least one uppercase letter, at least one lowercase letter, and at least one numeric digit. So the algorithm in our valid password function is what we're going to do is we're going to have some booleans that keep track of the correct length. We'll go ahead and set that to false. Has uppercase, we'll set that to false. Has lowercase, we'll set that to false. And has digit, we'll set that to false. So what we're going to do is we're going to iterate through each character in the password. If the character is an uppercase letter, we'll set has uppercase to true. If the character is a lowercase letter, we'll set lowercase, has lowercase variable to true, and if the character is a digit, we'll set the has digit variable to true. And then we're going to check to see if the password's length is 10 characters or greater, and if it is, we'll set the correct length variable to true. And then finally, what we need to do is we need to check to see if our correct length has uppercase, has lowercase, and has digit are true. If it is, we'll set the is valid variable to true, else we'll set the is valid variable to false, and then we'll return the is valid variable to the calling line. So if we go ahead and look at that program in Python, the one thing that I wanted to show you is that if you wanted to have multi-line comments, instead of using the hashtag in front of each one of the lines of comments, you can go ahead and specify double quotes, 3 double quotes, and then 3 double quotes at the end. And then what that does is that Python reads that as a comment block. So what we've done here is we've defined our valid password. We're passing in a password. The next thing we're doing is just setting our Boolean variables equal to false. And then what we're going to do is we're going to begin the validation. So we're going to test each character and set the appropriate flag when a required character is found. The one way that this example first showed was what they did is they actually checked to see if the length was greater than or equal to 10, but I'm just reversing that a little bit, and I'll show you why later on. So what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if the character in the password is an uppercase character. If it is, then we'll set it to true. Then we'll have a separate if check to check if it's a lowercase. We'll set that to true. And is digit, that's another is x method that you can use instead of is decimal. Is digit will return if the character is a digit. So we'll set that to true. And then after that, we're going to test the password's length. If the password's length is greater than or equal to 10, we'll set the correct length that goes to true. If it's not, then what we're going to do is we're going to print out your password must contain at least 10 characters. And the reason why I wanted to do that if check after we went through each one to verify if the password has an upper, lower, and digit in it was because I wanted to specify exactly what the password was missing. So for instance, if the password is 9 characters and we checked the length first and we didn't scroll through the check to see if it had a lowercase, a digit, or an uppercase, we wouldn't be able to let the user know that they were missing either a lowercase, a digit, or an uppercase. So what we're going to do in this next if statement, we're going to check to see if all 4 of our variables, our Boolean variables, are true. If it is, we're going to set is valid to true. If it's not, we're going to set it to false. And then what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if not has uppercase. So if they did not have an uppercase in their password, we'll let the user know. If they did not have a lowercase, we'll let the user know. And then finally, if it did not contain at least 1 digit, we'll let the user know. And then we're going to return the is valid variable. So this is where we're going to call the function. So this program gets a password from the user and validates it. That should be on the next line. So first line, we're going to get a password from the user. We'll prompt the user to enter their password, and then while not valid, basically what we're going to do is we're going to prompt the user until they actually enter a valid password. So let's go ahead and run the actual program here. Okay, so the first password I'm going to enter is AAA123 BBB. So now it should be violating 2 of the password rules. It doesn't have 10 characters and it doesn't have an uppercase. So we'll go and see the message that gets returned. Yeah, your password must contain at least 10 characters and your password must contain at least 1 uppercase letter. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to include a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what we should be is we should be validating a couple more rules. It does have 10 characters, but it does not have a digit and it does not have an uppercase. So again, it must have at least 1 uppercase and at least 1 lowercase. So what we're going to do next is I'll just enter AAA10 BBBB. Now it has 10 characters, it's all upper, and it has digits, but it does not have a lower, so it does not have a lowercase. So we validated that scenario. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to enter a valid password now, ABCD123 EFGHIJ. So now that should be valid. We have an uppercase, we have a lowercase, we have a digit, and it's greater than 10 characters. So there, the password is valid. So this is just an example of how you could go ahead and use the string methods in a real world example. So that's all I had for working with strings. So we will talk to you later.